We're nearing the end of yet another hectic week in Washington. So as we begin the 4th of July weekend and lawmakers are returning home to their constituents, we want to take a quick look back at the political week that was. It was quite a week. On Monday, the Supreme Court upheld a limited version of President Trump's travel ban. On Tuesday, the Senate postponed a vote on its health care bill despite Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's insistence it would be passed before the July 4th recess. Then on Thursday, the travel ban took effect, blocking entry from 6 Muslim-majority nations. Christina Bellantoni is the assistant managing editor for politics at the LA Times. Christina, thank you so much for being with us.
Sure.
I want to start with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He was insistent that this was going to get passed by the 4th of July holiday. Now everybody's on recess. Where does the debate stand now? Where do we go?
More time doesn't always help in the process, but in Mitch McConnell's case, he's got about $20 billion to play with effectively to win over reluctant senators. So he's able to say, we're going to give a little bit of money here to this state. Maybe that wins over a certain person's vote. That's very similar to what happened in the Affordable Care Act negotiations. It took them a very long time from when the House passed it to when the Senate finally passed it. So optimists that want to see this law passed are saying, oh, we have plenty of time. But other people are saying, look, like, we're going to go home. We're going to face angry town halls. You've got right here in California, you've got 7 congressional districts of people that are not really in favor of this law, and all of the House Republicans voted for it. So all of this time just puts more pressure on them. It's a really thorny political position to be in.
Well, and we watched last time they were on recess. There were issues that came up, and I mean, people expressed their anger about these things. So this is a real situation that these lawmakers are going to face when they come home for recess.
Absolutely.
I think what's interesting is that there are 10 Republican senators that actually sent a letter to Mitch McConnell saying, hey, cancel August recess. We want to work here. Do you think they're getting frustrated with the process?
A ton of frustration in Washington, in part because this has sidelined every other agenda. They really want to see tax reform get done. This is a moment where you have Republican control of Congress, a Republican president who would sign a tax reform bill. They can't even start to think about that or start to lay the groundwork to plan while they are dealing with health care, not to mention all of the other distractions that are coming from the White House right now.
Well, you talk about those distractions. We've had this Twitter war back and forth between the MSNBC hosts and Donald Trump. I do want to ask you, despite pleas from a lot of GOP lawmakers telling Donald Trump, President, please stop with some of these tweets here, how is this, in your mind, affecting his relationship with Congress when he's tweeting this stuff out?
It's really damaging because every time every reporter on Capitol Hill is going to every Republican senator, did you see what the president tweeted now? What's your response to that? People back home are being asked to respond to what President Trump is saying in Washington. It's damaging for the entire party. Particularly, a lot of these people didn't want him to begin with. When the Access Hollywood tapes came out right before he was able to win the presidency, you saw many, many lawmakers in Congress say, he's not my president, you know, he's not my nominee. I may not even vote for him. Maybe I'm going to do a write-in candidate for Mitt Romney, something like that. So these people weren't even firmly on his side to begin with.
Well, but I think what's interesting is some of his strong supporters are even coming out saying, just stop. Just stop. So we'll have to see how this plays out. And he did, you know, go back to a lot of policy-related tweeting this afternoon. So I guess we'll have to see how that plays out now, too.
It's a long weekend ahead, though.
It is. Everybody's on recess, though, so maybe things will calm down just a little bit. The travel ban, we were talking about that a little bit. That went into effect. Didn't spark nearly the reaction that we saw back in January. And, of course, then we had some of the developments in March. So is it because we've seen this delay in kind of the rollout that there isn't the reaction, or is something else going on here where it's more a support of what immigration law already says? It's just that's now coming to the forefront.
I expect a lot of reaction. There are a lot of civil rights lawyers that say they're just going to keep it sustained. They're going to be at LAX every single day trying to make this case. And in addition to that, we don't know what's going to happen. This goes into effect if you land at LAX or any airport in America. What's going to happen? Are there going to be incidents? I think as we start to hear reports of that, there's going to be more and more reaction because people are really nervous about this and about all of the ripple effects it's going to have for the economy, for families. I mean, there's just a lot of unknowns. The State Department is still struggling to define what is a bona fide relationship.
Yeah, and they kind of went back and forth on the fiance issue. I mean, they're still trying to sort out, I think, some of the language even before this kind of erupts. Looking ahead next week, do you even want to look ahead to next week? I mean, this week was so crazy, right? President Trump set to meet with Vladimir Putin for the first time at the G20 summit. What are you going to specifically be watching for out of that meeting?
My gosh. I mean, Putin's meetings with anyone from America have always been very interesting, right? We've really watched the body language between him and President Obama, Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State, handing him the reset button. So it's going to be, in some ways, just a photo op to really observe and take a lot of gleaning of psychology out of it. But this is somebody that has a very unique relationship with President Trump. They haven't spent any time together personally, yet this is the major focus of a special investigation into Trump and his campaign. So I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this. They call it kind of a sideline meeting. You know, it's not an official meeting. It's
I know,
not
but
part
it's
of the
going to
G20,
make a lot of headlines.
But it's what people are going to be talking about. And even Angela Merkel from Germany, she's continuing to press on climate change and is not really happy with President Trump on that issue. That's going to be a major issue. And at the same time, you'll have Putin on the sidelines.
So, I mean, forget that it's a holiday. Let's just dive right back in.
Yeah.
Christina Bellantoni, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.